What is up, everybody? Back with another video here, and today I'm going to be talking about my 10 most listened to bands of the month. This is something I've been doing at the end of every month this year, basically where I just go into my Spotify account, go to the stats feature, and run through my 10 most listened to bands of the month. I think it's pretty cool and interesting to see and talk about here. Of course, I do collect a lot of physical copies of albums as well. I've got over 900 between cassette tapes, CDs, and vinyl, but the primary source of my listening is probably Spotify, just between being at work listening to music, 8 hours a day or whatever, driving around with the aux cord, working out, or whatever I'm doing. This is a pretty accurate depiction of what I listen to on a monthly basis. So jumping straight in here, my number 10 is Megadeth. They're my favorite band of all time. They're on this list a decent bit. Sometimes they're not, because I've got all their albums on CD as well. So sometimes I just drive around with the CDs, but a lot of times Megadeth does end up making it. Dave Mustaine, a freaking metal god, amazing songwriter, great guitarist. So Megadeth, my number 10 for the month. Number 9, Sacrifice, amazing classic Canadian thrash band here. They're in the Canadian Big Four. Their debut album, freaking Torment and Fire, is amazing. Some of the heaviest, most extreme stuff at the time. Came out in early '86. Rob Urbanati on the vocals, sounds like a freaking madman, possessed. He's freaking awesome. His guitar playing is great, great on that as well, along with Joe Rico, the other guitarist. But really cool band that I listen to a pretty good bit here. So that's my number 9. Number 8 is Queensryche. So Queensryche is fantastic, classic U.S. progressive metal band, just classic metal, whatever you want to call them. They got a lot of great stuff. The vocals are fantastic from Jeff Tate on that early stuff. Really everything up through Empire I love. The guitar playing from Chris DeGarmo and Michael Wilton is amazing. The tone is awesome. The solos, the riffs, the melodies, all fantastic. Scott Rockenfield on the drums is great too. Eddie Jackson on bass. Got to mention everybody, I guess. But yeah, really cool band. My number 7 is actually going to be Pat Travers for the month. I did do a top 10 Canadian bands list kind of recently, so I've been listening to Pat a lot. Great classic hard rock, kind of similar to like Ted Nugent, Aerosmith, that type of thing. Heat in the Streets, awesome, which actually has Tommy Aldridge doing the drumming. A couple albums before that, he had freaking Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden doing the drumming. So a lot of great musicians playing along there with Pat. Live, Go For What You Know, one of the best live albums of the 70s. Crash and Burn's another really cool album from 1980. It's got Snortin' Whiskey on it. Probably maybe his best known song, but really great guitar player that's pretty underrated in my opinion. So listen to him a decent bit there. Number 6 for the month is Nasty Savage. I just saw these guys play a concert in like early April in Florida, which was really cool to see a concert. They freaking destroyed it. And the first 2 albums specifically are amazing. The self-titled and Indulgence. Just a great, like, kind of U.S. power metal, speed metal mix. They're kind of like in the like kind of no zone of mixing a lot of different subgenres together, but really cool stuff. Dave Austin on guitar is fantastic. Nasty Ronnie on the vocals, really cool, unique character and voice, but great band. My number 5 is Eidolon, amazing Canadian band here. The Drover Brothers, of course, this was their band before they were in Megadeth. Of course, Glenn was also in King Diamond's band in the early 2000s on the House of God album. But they're both great musicians. The vocals on this are fantastic. I did that top 10 Canadian band list, as I said, so listen to them a lot for that. Had their album Nightmare World on my 2000, top 10 albums of 2000, which was pretty recent if y'all want to check that out. But a really cool band that mixes classic power metal with classic thrash metal. Just awesome stuff. Number 4, Inquisition, kind of a mainstay. I kind of really got into them within the last year or so. Been listening to them just constantly for the most part. My favorite black metal band. Just love the absolute freaking ferociousness of their music, mixed with some more melodic, spacey, atmospheric kind of stuff. Of course, Dagon on vocals and guitar is awesome. His tone is amazing. So many great riffs from him. His vocals are really unique and cool, I think. Incubus on the drums, a freaking machine. It's just a 2-man group, and they just it sounds like a 5-man group. That's how powerful they are. But really cool stuff with that band that I highly recommend. My number 3 is actually a band called Opera 9, and it's Italian, like symphonic, melodic, gothic black metal band at the time. Of the album I really liked from them is called The Black Opera, and a lot of the black metal bands around this time, which that album came out in 2000, so late 90s, early 2000s, they were all blending kind of that gothic style, Cradle of Filth type stuff, melodic, symphonic stuff all together, which is a really cool sound, I think. Cadivaria on vocals, really great female singer that just sounds awesome on this album, and a lot of great riffs and melodies and songs on this. It was my number 2 of the year 2000. Spoiler if you haven't seen that video, but go check that out, and this is a really cool band. Number 2, Holy Moses, another kind of mainstay. They're one of my favorite thrash metal bands of all time. My favorite German band. Sabine Klassen on the vocals is awesome. One of the earliest, possibly the earliest instance of a girl singing like this. Just absolute kind of very harsh vocals, bordering death metal. As they went along, they got more extreme, but the New Machine of Liechtenstein, probably a top 10 thrash album of all time. It's not actually on Spotify though. I do have the CD, but as far as Spotify albums, you got Reborn Dogs, World Chaos, Queen of Siam, all that great classic stuff. And their more modern stuff is awesome too. Redefined Mayhem, and some other stuff. But great band. Andy Klassen on guitar is a freaking shred beast. Uli Kusch did some drumming for them, who later went on to be in Halloween, Gamma Ray. So really great musicianship with the band. Amazing stuff. Go check them out. My number one for the month is W.A.S.P. They're pretty high up a lot of the time. One of my favorite bands. They're in my top 10. Holy Moses, the band I just talked about, it's like in my top 20 all time. W.A.S.P. is in my top 10. Love Blackie's voice. I love most of the W.A.S.P. albums. The guitar playing on the early stuff from Randy Piper and Chris Holmes is amazing. Such great guitar tone. Of course, Steve Riley did some drumming with them before he went to LA Guns. A lot of different cool musicians in the band throughout the years. Frankie Banali did some drumming. Bob Kulick played guitar with them for a couple of albums. And just a lot of guys in and out of the band. But of course, Blackie Lawless, the mainstay, leader of the band, bassist on the first two albums, switched to rhythm guitar. His voice is awesome. He's really great at writing awesome vocal melodies and choruses that are super catchy, kind of haunting, dark-sounding voice. It's really unique stuff. And, yeah, love W.A.S.P. And I might as well just throw in a couple of, not honorable mentions, I'll say, but the couple bands that were just out of the top 10 for the month were Testament and Hellripper. Also, Iced Earth was right up there, and my freaking screen is literally just not loading right now, so I can't see it. But I know Iced Earth was there because I saw it earlier, and not sure who else. But Testament, Hellripper, and Iced Earth were all right just outside of the top 10. Oh, here it goes. King Diamond and Bolt Thrower were also there. So that's what I've been listening to lately. You guys, let me know what you've been listening to. I think it's cool to see. And got some other cool stuff coming up on the channel pretty soon here. Got Pete Pardo coming on for the top 10 hard rock singers. I've got Nick Franco coming back on Sunday for top 10 albums of 2004. So all this cool stuff coming up. And yeah, but as usual, you guys let me know what y'all thought. Give me your top 10 bands you've been listening to this month in the comments. And until next time, thank you for watching.